Okay, Gemini. So your energy surrounding love this month, hopes, fears, expectations. We have the Judgment card in the reverse. So, I feel like a lot of you have been grappling with decisions regarding love. And when the Judgment card is in reverse, I feel like a lot of you are having a hard time hearing your inner voice and your inner calling. And fear is been more of a struggle. This card can kind of allude to that fears are still holding you back, and there might be a fear of what you're going to have to give up, or it could even be connected to a financial issue. The other thing about the Judgment reversed is it just feels that maybe you haven't been making the best decisions in love, and that you have just felt like a lack of clear thinking. And you probably just feel overwhelmed by these things, and it just, it's hard. I feel like you've had a really confusing thoughts regarding love. I feel like some of you are, once again, you're at this crossroads. You're at this crossroads in your love life, and fear is holding you back from making a decision about which direction to take. And that's kind of the challenge of being a Gemini, is that kind of duality and always feeling like you're torn two different ways. Some of you might actually know what you really want, but you're worrying about what other people are going to think, or if they will judge you. Because some of you, I feel like, are really wanting a change. Like you really truly do want to change, or transformation, but maybe some of you are feeling blocked, or that there's just a temptation to resist any change. And just to stay as things are because it's comfortable, even if you're unhappy. I feel like some of you are not feeling connected to your soul, your spiritual self. And, some of you are distracting yourselves this month and looking to fill yourself with other things. For some, it could be addictive substances to fill the void, or it could just be like working a ton and just kind of anything that's kind of keep your mind off of all of these different thought processes that you're having. And then some of you, I feel like, have just been in this situation for so long, like you're used to the chaos, you're used to the mental confusion, that it's normal. It's normal now. And that maybe it's just even too late to make changes. So, yeah, I feel like a lot of you aren't feeling happy, as far as you're not feeling fully fulfilled in your love life. And some of you might be feeling, subconsciously bitter or just negative. Things aren't really turning out the way you wanted or expected. I just have to say, Gemini, this can be a sign of kind of gossiping, griping, or just kind of bitching about the situation. So I do feel kind of, you're up against a lot right now, Gemini. So this could be you, or this could even be other people around you. And maybe that's why you're afraid to really speak up about how you really feel, because, people are judging or treating you unfairly. With the Judgment reverse, some of you have not learned from past mistakes, and there is a refusal to even acknowledge that this is a negative pattern. And I can relate with that. I mean, as humans, half the time we know something's wrong, but it's hard to see it. It's hard to see it. And because you're such a mutable, changeable sign, sometimes it's hard to really see yourself as you really are. So I do feel a lot of you are kind of going through a hard time as far as how you're feeling about love and what your hopes and expectations are in the month of July. And yeah, so for the obstacle, we have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. And so what this tells me is that a lot of you are working really, really hard. This can show like kind of all work, no play. It can show kind of just focusing on the material world, not really addressing your feelings or your spirit, but just working. It can point to being superficial and just like an inability to relax, just working too hard. And really, I feel like a lot of you want the good life, you want a good relationship, but to do that work, you're just not ready to do that. Some of you, because you have two earth signs cards, you could be dealing with the Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. The obstacle is about chasing a lifestyle or seeking, well-to-do partners in order to access wealth. There's kind of a real focus on money in your chart here, but maybe not a healthy aspect of focusing on money. This is also about wanting someone to kind of spoil and pamper you, which that's not a bad thing in and of itself. This could also represent maybe your partner is kind of high maintenance and is costing you a fortune. There's definitely a drain on finances for some of you. This can also represent choosing to marry for money and not for true love. I sense a lack of emotional intimacy and a lack of closeness. But, for some people that works. But there's a part of you, Gemini, that I don't feel like is happy with it, but it's just all that you know. For some of you, you're just working so hard, you don't even have time for relationships. And there could be a subconscious reason for that. It could be just to avoid intimacy because you are torn about which way you want to go. And so it's easier just to not even focus on it. So some of you, the best thing to do would be to kind of take a step back and quiet yourself and just be willing to ask yourself some of these questions. To understand, not to judge yourself in any way, but if you're not happy, Gemini, in some situation, to not be afraid to feel your feelings, to not be afraid to really kind of sort through everything, knowing that you can trust yourself and that you can get to the outcome. The other thing that this alludes to is that, you might be in a relationship and it may look really good on the outside, but looks can be deceiving. Because on the inside, you might be bored. You might just be bored out of your mind and just like not even interested. But once again, this is there's a strong material energy surrounding this. It could also represent maybe not you, maybe it's your partner who's more interested in your money than you. You just have to be on guard, Gemini, of people that you don't want anyone to use you. And as far as the outcome, we have the Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Pentacles is really about being burnt out to the level of exhaustion. This is about having a struggling business or partnership relationship. It's about feeling lonely inside and feeling your sense of spiritual hunger. And sometimes things have to get worse, Gemini, before they get better. So if you are in a relationship, this can talk about just slow progress, just slow growth. And, this figure here is out in the cold, out in the snow, and he's kind of decrippled. And so I feel that, physically you might be doing fine, but emotionally or spiritually, you don't feel connected. This can also represent a separation or divorce, and it can also represent, affairs. So I feel like a lot of you Geminis are, you're having a lot of transformative things happening in relationships. They're really working you over. So some of you, the outcome here is what's going to happen is there's going to be a separation in your relationship. Some of you are realizing this just is not working, or it eventually is just, there's so much loneliness within the relationship, and you might have everything you need financially, but it's lacking for you emotionally and spiritually. And what this is pointing to for you, Gemini, is that interchange is needed. For some of you, if your relationship is strong, then you can ride out the storm, but and it's only going to prove to strengthen your relationship. However, there might be some shallowness in the relationship, and you just need to question, are you happy? Is this working for you? If your partner leaves you out in the cold, or if you choose to leave them out in the cold, one of the partners might feel unwanted and unloved. And the reason I think some of you are fighting this is because if you were to make a choice, and the reason you don't want to make a choice is it's going to affect you either socially or your status or your work or financially. And the relationship change or choice might result in you having to give everything you have, give a lot of things up. And so that's why it's scary. But my suggestion for you is if you're not happy, You know, I think of that biblical verse, like, what would it gain a man if he gained the whole world but lost his soul? You know, you could have everything you want on the outside, but if you're not happy on the inside, then it means nothing. And so I do feel like a lot of you Geminis will be working really hard this month. Finances are going to be important. And some of you, this is general, but some of you are just going to be feeling kind of a sense of emptiness and struggling to figure out where you're going to go from here. So just know that, you know, you are very gifted, you are very intelligent, and you will come up with the right decision for yourself, whatever that is. But just take that time out. Don't be afraid to feel your feelings. Don't be afraid to be honest with yourself. Just really, you know, start journaling or do something where you can start sorting out your feelings and your emotions, and you know, make yourself a pro and cons list. That can be helpful as well, because at the end of the day, you want to be happy, and, you know, moving towards that is definitely going to relieve some of this tension and stress, even if it isn't done overnight. So I really hope this has been helpful. If it has, I would so appreciate for you to like and subscribe to the channel.